Hello, everybody. I'm just got my music going and I'm talking. So I'm going to stop the music. What do we have? A one bedroom, one bathroom condo in Sonalta, which is an area here in Calgary. A gallery kitchen with a long island, hardwood floors, fresh paint, and an in-suite laundry. The unit is 487 square feet and has stainless steel appliances. $140,000. This one is the top floor, one bedroom, one bath condo. They're calling these things condos. They used to be apartments. 514 square feet, 145. Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's just get into it. Look at me, look at me, look at me, looking at me, look at me, looking at me. Ah, here I am. Welcome. So if you didn't catch that, I was just going over some of the cost of one bedroom condos here in Calgary. And one bedroom condos like 500 less than 600 square feet are going for like 140, $150,000. Like what? I know. And these are and if you look at these apartments, right? When you look at these apartments, they're not they're old apartments. Like these apartments were probably built in the 70s, maybe the 80s. And then they just spruced them up inside. So they're 400, 500 square feet going for $156,000. Oh my goodness. Like I'm sorry. I mean, things are starting to go crazy, like totally, totally crazy. Look at that. I don't notice this until I get on camera. That one side's darker than the other, but whatever. That's gonna be my trademark. One side is darker than the other. I'm feeling there's just, especially since we're entering into such Uranian energy, such crazy energy. So, Uranus is a very unexpected type of energy. Uranus can move or change in an instant and do your trajectory of what you are doing from, oh, I thought I was doing this, to boom, you're doing something totally different and you weren't even expecting to do that. And Uranus is starting to slow down. It goes retrograde on September the 1st. And yes, I do have a workbook for that if you're interested. So, with this Uranus energy, we have where Mercury is starting to square, Mercury and Saturn squaring over to Uranus. Saturn's doing an opposition, or Mercury and Venus doing a square over to Uranus, and Venus doing an opposition to Saturn. Let's get it right, Mary. Um, I think this is just like it's looking at our values, our relationships. Venus in Virgo, trying to establish what we are wanting to kind of like to have, right? And it's trying to bring it down into some kind of substance. Like Venus in Virgo, like she's, first of all, we all know she doesn't like it there. So Virgo, when I picture Virgo, so I'm going to picture my sister because she's a Virgo. And I remember when I lived with my sister, like it was like everything had its place, and she had her pretty things, and she liked her pretty things. And you don't touch her pretty things, you don't touch her stuff. Like she really had things done. If you're going to dust it, you make sure you put it back exactly where it was before, kind of thing. And I feel like she's a very organized, um she just she's always well put together. Uh, I've never really seen my sister sort of shambled. Like, she likes to be making sure that she's well put together when she's going out and doing stuff. And, plus, I mean, she's a lot taller than I am. She's what, 5'11", just under 6 feet tall. I'm under 6 feet tall by a long ways. Um, and, her whole way of doing things is, here, me being this water sign Scorpio, I got this stuff together and I got that stuff together, and look at, I love this over here, and this very, very eclectic kind of way of living, which can drive other people nuts. But I feel like this, looking at your values and looking at what your relationships, your money. Now, as with the money, there's so much coming out of the States right now. People like, who is it? The Economic Ninja, Dan from I allegedly, and quite a few others are coming in and saying, get your money out of the banks because things are starting to get crazy. And then gold goes up to over just over $2,500 an ounce, which is absolutely, when you start seeing gold going up so high, there is, shit's going to start hitting the fan, because gold is sort of that marker. When gold is low, everybody does well. When gold is high, that's when you get everybody, everything's being stretched to its limits. And you hear these things that are happening, like things like I posted on, when it comes to money, where the Bank of Canada is going to cut the rates by 3 more times, and everybody's like, yeah, that's great. And I'm like, okay, first of all, it's the Trudeau government. I don't trust it. So there's something else going on there. um and you think about, okay, the last, when they start cutting rates, that's what they did in 1929. And the more they cut the rates, because it's not like you're cutting the rates and everybody's being prosperous. People are going out and there's jobs everywhere and people are working, and, it's, people are able to buy a home. Right now, when a one bedroom flat for 487 square feet is going for about $160,000. That's not prosperity. I mean, here, buy this hole in the wall and pay me, $250,000, let's say. That's what it is. And this is not in, like, they're in nice areas, like sort of inner city areas, but they're not in. There's a lot of homeless people hanging out in those areas. Like, if you go walking around those areas, it's not an area that, oh, let me go for a walk at 2 o'clock in the morning. Not necessarily, because there is a lot of homeless people, a lot of people shooting up, all kinds of shit going on there. So this is when you start to think, okay, cutting the rates, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? And you got this Uranian energy coming in. You got Mercury retrograde. Mercury's just gone into Leo. It's like, okay, there's a lot of unpredictability. And this is where don't need to understand. You don't need to understand. You just need to focus on what, you are doing for your, for yourself, for your family, etc. Right? It's just that things coming in. I mean, the world's going bonkers. I mean, the Church of England decided to not use the word church anymore. Like, okay, let's just throw out the whole fucking Christian religion kind of thing with the Church of England. What are you going to call it? The religion of England? The Protestants of England? What are you going to call it if you're not going to use the word church? You don't want to use the word church because you might offend somebody? Like, okay, if, cathedral, like, I mean, I can use the word cathedral. Cathedral can be many things. I can go into a forest, of the redwood forest, it's called the cathedral. Like, it's just, massive and beautiful and all around the redwoods. A lot of people, they're saying, well, you could have a church outside, you could have a church here, and it's taking away a lot of symbolism, a lot of sacredness. And that's the whole thing that's coming in with, especially with Pluto just at the end of Aquarius, and the moon is conjuncting Pluto right now in Aquarius. There's a shift that's going to be happening, especially in the political front. We're going to start seeing some crazy shifts happening, especially, September 1st, Uranus goes retrograde, Pluto goes into Capricorn, shifting, change, things happening, and things happening quickly. And with this conjunction, I feel like it's like almost like getting people to see that, what you thought was sacred is no longer sacred. And I could take many things that I think are sacred. I love to go sit in some churches. I do, because there is just such a presence of people who've prayed there, that those frequencies of the prayers and the love that came, and the births that come in, the weddings, and even the deaths, of those who have passed, the repose of the souls of the faithful departed, to going and being in, I would just love to go sit in the middle of Stonehenge. That sacredness of, I don't know why you built it, but you know what? But there's a power there. Or going to some of the King's Mounds in Hawaii. There's a sacredness there, right? And I feel like there is this darkness that wants to come in and take away the sacredness. A good friend of mine sent me a video of she was on the res, and she of a medicine wheel, and I was just like, whoa. I mean, I love medicine wheels. I made a medicine wheel um way back in 2017. No. Hold on. 27, between, I think, around 2010, which was quite ironic. So I made this medicine wheel in 2010, and I knew I had to have it done by August 31st, which happened to coincide with the calendar ending with the indigenous people of New Zealand. And in having that done, and having that medicine wheel, I had people come and visit it, right? The power, the sacredness of it. When I activated, we had a huge dog at the time, an Italian Mastiff, and Caesar would just go and lay in it. Like, you would see this big dog, just like, he just loved the activation of it. You knew there was such a sacredness. We were in this frequencies in time that want to take away the sacred, want to take away what you value, what you believe is sacred for you. And that could be a church, that could be the middle of the forest, that could be sitting in or being in a medicine wheel, and having that, what you feel is sacred. It could be so many different places, but there's this entity, there is this I could feel it, this negativeness, that and darkness that wants to encompass, and it's coming in different ways. So that's why I find it so prevalent, so important, especially with all of these shifts coming in and all of this changes, that we have to really stay in tuned, because with Saturn retrograde in Pisces, is trying to make sure that we have our feet planted and that we are grounded in our sacredness, in our truth, and making sure that we are doing what is important, doing our offerings, doing and setting up our altars, and cleaning our altars, but making sure that we have that sacredness within inside ourselves. Because when we carry it with us, nobody can take it away from us. And that's so important to understand, because there is going to be such a darkness, a force that is coming in, that is trying to take that away from us, trying to separate all that has been created, and sever it in so many ways. And in severing it, it is like trying to have a rule come in, or a pressure saying, this is what you have to do. I looked at, of things of the prime minister of the new prime minister of um, England, Stammer, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's evil." Like I just doing a just just sort of sitting and just sort of allowing myself to feel into that presence and feel into that energy, and I was just like, "That's evil." Like he is. There is a part of there's just yeah, and I'm just like, "Whoa, whoa." It's so interesting to witness. Now we've seen it. I just feel this is how I'm looking at it in my little head. Got to follow my thoughts in my head. So I see that and I see what he's doing and the craziness that he's doing. I mean, he just put terrorists up for free in England. Like, why not? I'll arrest a 15-year-old for being a little shit disturber on the street for 10 years. But you, who is a terrorist who does unspeakable things to people, I will put you up in a hotel. I will feed you and I will give you money. Like, I'm just like, whoa. And then I look at, for our, and I just like, holy shit. He's just he's got that in him, but he's sort of like one of those little um those the word, like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Hercules. and, and where Hades wants to take over, there's Hades like "Rrr," and he's got those two little guys, and they're like "Rrr." That's who RPM reminds me of, one of those little guys who are wanting to do their bidding to Hades, and that's our break. Oh, what do you want me to do? Oh, and then that's who RPM reminds me of. The states, the whole state. I mean, they just witnessed, and nobody's talking about it, but it's basically an inside coup that just happened in the states. But it's like, oh yeah, whatever. It's like, I don't know. Are we so numbed? Are we so placid? Are we so not wanting to see the truth of what is actually happening in our world that we're just waiting? Okay, just have the bomb, just blow it all up, and then maybe I'll pay attention. And with Uranus coming in, I feel like, especially September 1st, Pluto, Pluto's plutonium, Uranus is uranium. And on the first, when they do their moves, one retrograde and one is retrograde and goes back into Capricorn. Whew. That's a huge activation. And I feel that's when we got to come back down. So you got all of this craziness that's up here that is happening. And here we are, and it's coming down, and here we are. We are the center point. We know all of that's going on up here, but here we are coming down into the centerness. We are the centered piece. We have to be that centered piece. And if each of us are those centered pieces, each of us are bringing in that light and making sure that we are putting our feet on the ground and allowing ourselves to ground and be that light, we can activate and bring forth the change, bring forth the deactivation of it. It's going to take some time, and it's a lot. It's like putting that up there. It is where, where you might feel very um overwhelmed and anxious and that, so you got to honor that within you and be able to allow yourself to take time to regenerate, and knowing that and taking that time to regenerate, that there is a pool that is there for us to actually drink from, for actually to bring forth from, that helps to nurture us, and that is through the divine, that is through the universe and through our God. And the more we drink of that, the more we bring that forth into ourselves, that's going to help us to get through this. As we are going to be seeing a lot of flip-flopping, the news, things that are going to be coming out about the pox. It's all of that that we have to come out, and you know what? We have to bless it. We have to come out and we have to bless it. We have to send it out and bless it. And bless it with love and light and pure source energy. Bless it with love and light and pure source energy. Because the more we bless it, the more we bless it with love and light and pure source energy, we are able to transmute it into something better. We are able to bring forth that transmutation in order for us to be able to create the reality, the world that we want to create and do. And it is a job. And it is a job that is very like, I want to time out. I don't want to do this. Give me a fucking glass of wine, give me a shot of whiskey, whatever it is. Sometimes we just need to find, a downtime to rejuvenate ourselves in some way. Not advocating to go out and get to drink, but finding that what is it that I need to do to rejuvenate myself, to actually bring forth the grounding I need. And as this world is starting to really ramp up, and those that the more that they expose themselves, the more that they show themselves, the more that these arrows of light can come in and penetrate, and they don't want that. They don't want that. They'll deflect it. They'll deflect it, but we don't need to understand it all. We just need to stand in our light with all of that. This moon is a very, as I said, it's a very activated moon. This moon in Aquarius is really bringing in, and it's a moon with Pluto at 0 degrees. This moon, and it's squaring. It's at 27 degrees. So this moon is going to be at 27 degrees. Uranus is at 27 degrees. This is an activation moon. This is activating the unknown. And in this activation, and the full moon is on Monday. So if you're still wanting to get your moon readings, order it now. I have 4 left. That's it. I'm going to just do 4 more, adding to my list, and then that's it. So, or if you want it for the rest of the year, that's fine. But this activation, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, what's, whatever. Like, that's what I get. A lot of people are like, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. People were whatever with what I said too, back in from 2017 to 2019. People were like, oh, whatever, mama's just being crazy again. I'm just like, no, this is an activation. This is us going down a path of that's going to bring in some craziness, but it's a craziness that's going to come in, a transmutation that's going to come in, that is going to get us to reactivate where we need to go and what we need to do. Balsam fir is coming in. So balsam fir is a beautiful one for protection and bringing in that protection. It is one that helps us to awaken. And they're showing me the with your third eye, and it helps to open up the third eye to bring forth the clearness of it. And you could just take some balsam fir if you have it. And it's also really good if you have any inflammation, to either put it into your aromatherapy diffuser, or if you want to take a little bit with some carrying oil and just gently just put it onto your third eye. Not a lot, you just need a little dab there. Help to, or you can make it into, if you are finding any places that are swollen or feeling achy, you can, with a carrying oil, and then just rub it onto those areas as well. The other one that I'm seeing, and it's either I got cardamom coming in, and then I got a citrus. Oh, I got citrine. So it's citrine that's coming in. It's funny because I was just talking about, but anyway, citrine and cardamom. So cardamom, very much a very protective herb as well, and having that cardamom, so it can be very pungent smelling. So that pungent can help to, within your diffuser, putting that definitely within the diffuser, and helping to bring in that protection and groundedness for you. as well. Citrine too. Citrine is a one of those crystals that does cleanse itself, and very similar to selenite. Selenite is a beautiful cleanser, and it does cleanse other crystals, and that citrine does the same thing as well. So having the citrine is another one that is very helpful. So, whew, so much, baby, so much. Mm. So three of swords reversed. So getting over it, there's openness that is coming, there's new things that are coming. So when you get the three of swords and it's reversed, it's not as bad as getting the three of swords when it's upright. So the three of swords when it's reversed is really showing you a lot, that there's an openness that's coming, there's a readiness that's coming for you, and allowing for you that you're emerging through a negative phase. So this is showing us that we're going to be emerging through this negative phase on this earth and within our lives, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And with that, there is connection and communion with that. So finding the connections that you need to have, and the healing pieces that need to come with it, and knowing that there is a healing that, as we are emerging, and a connection that comes in with it. The two of cups, I know everybody's, oh, it's just love. Well, it's more than just love. It's about contracts, it's about connection, it's about making those connections with other people, and it is about identifying the need for compromise, or for a choice to be made in order to arrive at a comfortable solution between two people. So finding that solution that you need. So that could be between you and somebody else, or you and your divine. And you need to find that, I need to understand more, or maybe there is some kind of resistance with that. So this is where it's like allowing for yourself to come into a place of reconciliation, coming into a place of love and of self-love through that, as we're going through, because we are headed into a new direction, a newness, something that is unwavered, something that we can see in the distance. We can see it in the distance. We may not understand it all. We may not know exactly where, but we have an idea that we are moving forward into something that is new. This is looking at the horizon, listening to your intuition, knowing that through all of the craziness, through these changes and these new activations that are coming in, that this is also going into where we are going to be coming into a higher state of awareness, and allowing ourselves to be open to that higher state of awareness as we are emerging through this great darkness that is there. So it's not all bad. It's not all bad. So let me know if you're wanting readings for the moon. Will be coming out tomorrow. I probably won't do a live or anything on Sunday, Monday, depending to see how things go. Maybe on Monday, because it is the full moon. I'll come in and say, because it's moon day too. I'm trying to take at least a couple days off a week. So, and just to recoup, and yeah, just to do that grounding. We all need that, right? So may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say, and all that you be, and all that you do. Know that you are fabulous, beautiful, scrumptious, delicious human beings that are filled with so much light and love. Allow it to shine. Allow it to shine. All right. So blessed be everybody. Go out. Bye bye.